Ciao and welcome. This is my fourth video. I wanted to make them weekly and to have a dedicated day, but I didn't quite manage to keep up with that. It wasn't easy. It's not easy to do this actually. And it's not because I don't have some ideas of what I could present, but rather because I have a hard time finding the drive to do it, settling on a type of content, figuring out what I want to say. And the reason why I don't find this drive is actually why I started this vlogging experiment anyway. And that's because I don't get it. I don't get all this fuss about influencers and vlogging, this phenomenon. Like, I do have some hypotheses why people watch them or people doing it, but I don't think I understand the core of it. And when you don't understand something, well, you can say it's bad, you can reject it, you can push it away, or you can do your best to understand it and then make a conscious choice of whether you like it or you don't, and you say it's bad or don't. So I really try to understand this cultural phenomenon that we are living in, like really understand it. So stay with me while I wrap my head around it for the first time. Well, for the first time in front of a camera anyway. I'm sure that this concept of influencer appeared because the need of a conversation. Because normally concepts appear when we need to talk about something, when there's a problem that needs to be solved. So we need the words in order to explain what the problem is and then try to solve it and debate about it. For example, the concept of human appeared when Europeans discovered America, and they were surprised to find that there were some people there, but they were different, and in order to explain who they were and to put them in a category, they had to place themselves in a category. So there were humans and not humans, because they didn't think Native Americans were humans at first, being so primitive and all. So that's why they invented the concept, and we ended up having this new concept of human. What is human, what it's not. And a couple of centuries later, we invented the concept of human rights. Like after the Second World War, we started to talk about human rights, which we didn't have the words for it until we needed to discuss about how to make sure that those atrocities never happen again. And with these human rights concepts, of course, there are so many other concepts that are nowadays on our lips, like feminism and LGBT and race. So a lot of concepts that help us define what's human, what's right, and I guess basically, who are we? Who are we as human beings? Who are we as individuals? Because all these conversations put the individual on the spot again and really gave us the words to talk about our similarities and our differences. So it's a lot about who each individual is in this world. And this conversation came in this era of the internet, when there is so much information out there that it's almost impossible to answer to these questions, to analyze everything and figure out, okay, but who I am in this entire ecosystem. And you don't even need to be creative, because through social media, we have so many options available. There are so many alternatives of who one can be. And through social media, we can see who everybody is. So it's a matter of choice, and choice is hard when you have so many options. And here's the problem, because of course there's a problem. The problem is that we don't actually see who these persons are. We just see who they want us to see. And this is a problem that created another concept. And that's the concept of authenticity. And oh my God, we talk so much about it today. I hear it everywhere. I hear it every day. In real life, reading it in an article, hearing it from a vlogger talking about how she's being authentic. And we are all craving for this authenticity, and we are all promoting it without actually being sure in a way what is authenticity anyway. Science says that every 7 years or so, every cell in our bodies change. So we are completely different every 7 years in terms of physical body. And I think it's the same with who we are inside. Our desires change, our priorities, our experiences, everything changes. And sometimes authenticity sounds like such like a picture, like this is it, this is your core. But I feel that my core is changing. But it shouldn't be a static picture. It should be a dynamic process, like life is. And when we are talking about authenticity, we need to take into account the fact that we are transforming. So we must be authentic in that transformation. For example, if I figure out what my values are, and I want to live by them, okay, so I identify my values. They are in accordance to the world, because we can be free but we still want to be part of a group. So we identify these values, but we are not yet living by them fully. So what we need to do is to focus not on just who we are, but who we want to be, and on who we become. And in this process of transformation, in this process of becoming, sometimes we are being fake, because it's not who we are yet. So it really becomes very, very complicated to stay true to yourself when you're changing. And of course you read and you go to workshops and you do everything, yet it's still so complicated, no? And I think this is where influencers come in. I think this is why this current started to appear, and this is why the concept of influencers started to gain so much traction, because we need some guidance. And I guess these vloggers, these influencers, do seem very authentic. They seem to be people who figured out who they are, what they stand for, what their beliefs are. They have the courage and the skill to put it out there and be comfortable with it. And it's hard being comfortable with all the pressures around when the entire world is watching you. So I guess they act as some sort of examples. No, it's reassuring to know that some people can do it, that there are some people who are authentic, and we appreciate that about them because it's so hard to do it. And that's why I became so interested in what's this influencing all about. And I'm doing two type of things. First of all, I started to watch vloggers, and mostly lifestyle vloggers. I'm following some people, I'm watching random episodes of some others, and yeah, some information is useful, and I get why people would watch a video to figure out how to put some makeup or how to decorate on a budget or stuff like that. But what I don't get is why would people start following a certain person? Why would they become fans of that person? Because when I watch the videos, okay, some of them I find some useful information. Sometimes I giggle, so some of them are funny, but most of the times the most common thought that goes through my head is, why would I care? Like, why would I care what you have in your bag? Why would I care what you did on your holiday? Why would I care how you make how you have fun with your friends? I want to have fun with my friends. So I'm in this stage right now, and I just because I don't get it and I ask this question, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying if it's that it's good or that it's bad. I just really try to understand it. The second thing that I'm doing is putting myself in the shoes of the content creator, like what I'm doing right now, trying to be in the shoes of an influencer. I wanted to do it to see how it feels on myself and how comfortable I am talking in such a public space, putting myself out there, and what are the things that I feel are required for me to do in order to be comfortable with doing this. For example, today I had to work from home, and obviously I was wearing very comfortable casual clothes, and when I decided to do this video, I found it so natural to change my clothes and put on some lipstick so that you can see that I do have some lips. So I went to the wardrobe and opened it and actually processed all the information and really thought about, okay, what do I wear so that I don't look fatter than I am in real life, that is decent, that it blends in with the environment, and so on. So I did this conscious choice of building an image in front of you and in front of the camera, and I was very aware of it, but I went through with it to see how it feels. Do I feel guilty? Do I feel this it's not me? And all of this feelings and thoughts. Now that I'm sharing this with you, it becomes a bit obsolete. I don't think I can use this anymore. I also brought here this lamp from the bedroom, so full disclosure. And talking about full disclosure, very connected with this concept of authenticity, it's the concept of vulnerability. So again, another hot topic, another popular word nowadays, and it's a concept that I started to deep dive in it after I got the feedback from a friend that I am not vulnerable, and it shocked me. part of me was thinking, why would I want to be that? But yeah, I'm a bookworm, so I started reading what this does vulnerability means, and I did my research, and I understand what it's all about. But the question that I have, and I find it interesting, it's not that it's not what vulnerability is and what authenticity is necessarily. That's also some part of the reason why I'm doing this. But also, why now? You know, why are we talking about this now? Like, why did we talk about humans only then? So why are we talking about these concepts now? And there are a lot of whys in the air. I think maybe it all comes down to figuring out the meaning of life. So what's the meaning of our lives? And I think everybody tries to answer to this question, and a lot of whys and a lot of questions appear, like why are we, or who are we, or who are we meant to be? So I don't think there's a universal answer to this, and I don't think there's anybody who holds it, not even the Dalai Lama. So I'm very sure of that. What I'm also sure is that there is an answer that every generation has. So I think every generation has a way to answer to that question. And I didn't do any research on this, so I didn't talk to people who are watching vlogging. I didn't talk with vloggers or influencers to get their opinion on this. I didn't look in the academia, so in research papers, to see what others found out about this topic, because I really wanted to dive in myself at first and see how do I feel it, and what do I find, and where my common sense takes me. So I didn't do any research, but I'm really curious and interested to try to spell it out. I hope you enjoyed my monologue. Meanwhile, the sun left us, so I think I talked a lot again. And I hope you will be joining this conversation with me, and maybe we can figure it out together. And actually, I even wanna do this risky thing and ask you for a favor. I'm really curious. How would you answer to the question, why did you watch this video until this end? Why? So just do comment in the section below on why did you watch it, and it can be as simple as because you asked me to, or because I'm your friend and wanted to know what you're up to in Cagliari, or stuff like that. So any answer would help, but I hope to get some of them at least. Anyways, thank you so much, and see you next time, I guess. Ciao.